think we went too high.
What? Y'all did not just literally prove me right. Oh my god.
Donald Marshall made this song. This is how Donald Marshall made this amazing song. I never did anything that could be played backwards, just catchy, clever tunes to get me out of there without getting cloned. Over the years, through trial and error, I learned how to capture the attention of people with different melodies. People like repetitiveness in songs, predictability, and then sometimes poems. Sometimes I'd include a melody that had similarities. A perfect example is Somebody I Used to Know, a song I made for a band named Gautier. I made the background tune very similar to the nursery rhyme Bar Bar Black Sheep. Just about everyone has heard the nursery rhyme as a kid. But when they hear Somebody I Used to Know, they don't make the connection, and subliminally they just know they've heard it before. It's familiar and gets stuck in their head. I've sold more records that way. Kept me from being tortured most times. I use attention-grabbing melodies and nursery rhymes. Bar Bar Black Sheep, you know? Have you any wool? Listen. The addicting subliminal part is a nursery rhyme. Everybody knows Bar Bar Black Sheep, nursery rhyme, but they can't identify it in this song. They listen to it and say, where do I know that song from? I've heard it before, I can't get it out of my head. But they can't figure out why they've heard it before. When these people used to listen to Bar Bar Black Sheep, they were children, and it was a more carefree time as a child, and they listened to it. And they get this feeling of reminiscing about childhood. And they don't even know why. It's a subliminal psychological level. I had to make songs successful, or they would come back and torture me for failing to make them rich or famous. That Gautier guy hates me because he says he's a songwriter, but he can't think up songs. It takes him over 6 months to make one and it's no good. But me at the cloning centre, I sang out a killer top 10 hit in 4 minutes. I make it look effortless, and he hates me for that.
Here we go.
I never believe women are safe in any religion because the majority of it is written by men and catered to a man's fantasy. And
here are the things that have bothered me throughout the entire world of what women have been through. Did you know there's a thing called a scold's brittle? Now, this is how they treated their women before, slavery. In medieval times, on how they treated their women. There was a torture device called the Ripper. A woman who was condemned as a witch, adulteress, or a blasphemer may have thy ripped off. The amounts of gruesome contraptions that medieval people created. The thumbscrew, the breaking wheel. The torturer takes hammer and proceeds to smash different parts of the limbs while the wheel is spinning. Okay, let's just continue. Female prisoners who are virgins must be assaulted before execution to prevent them from entering heaven. Now, I had to look this up because this couldn't be real. Organized assault of virgin girls awaiting execution. 223 women. 15% were under 18 years old. It gets worse. Now, I didn't even know this was happening around the world, but there's this thing called FGM. Just look it up, okay? I don't even know if I can explain it on here. It is carried out between infancy and the age 15 of women.
If Fatima does not pass through this rite, she will be considered unclean and face rejection in her village. She will not be able to get married, and when she dies, she will not be allowed to be buried with her ancestors. Her close relatives will not even be allowed to mourn her upon her passing.
I literally have no words. And we got the main slain, which is the reason why women are damned for eternity, to experience menstrual cycles. Because we ate an apple and we cursed all of humanity. The fight between the masculine and the feminine needs to stop. Seriously. I hope y'all got a little insight of what's going on. Y'all stay dangerous and protect y'all goddesses. Literally.
I just remember saying with every breath, I believe in God. And when I said that, all of my breath left. It was so forceful. I was up on the ceiling. There was no way for me to get back in my body. I just had to let go. When I took that last breath, it was like, now I can really breathe, like really breathe. And it was the most incredible, exhilarating feeling. It was like, oh, this is me. This is really me. And it was like I was expanded. I remember just like watching everything unfolding. I remember seeing that the ambulance was still driving there, almost in the parking lot, coming to me. They get my body on the stretcher and they start doing life-saving measures to get me to the hospital. I just remember watching all of this almost like it's a movie and having these feelings like, oh my gosh, these people really care. They don't even know me. Look how hard they're trying to help me. I now started admiring my body and going, yes, I'm grateful for that body. I'm grateful for my time here, but that's not really me. I remember feeling this angelic presence to my right. It just enveloped me with love, and I let go, is the best way to say it. As soon as I had this like ease of letting go, then that's when I started moving up this tunnel. Now I'm traveling at like the supersonic speed. It was exhilarating, and it was filled with so much love that there were so many moments when I was in the tunnel that I thought, oh my gosh, I don't know if I can fit any more love into this feeling because I'm going to burst. I didn't see the angel physically with my eyes, but I didn't need to. The best way to describe it is the human five senses that we recognize here on earth in our bodies are confining. When I was in that form without the human shell, they weren't confined anymore. And so I was able to see not just like with these eyeballs, right? It was bigger than that. It was so much bigger. So I could see and feel the angel, and the angel was so incredibly beautiful and had this connection to me. It was like, how can one person get that much love? We traveled for quite some time, and I felt the angel presence leave. That was replaced with this overwhelming presence of God. God was with me and all around me, and it was the stars everywhere. I was in the galaxy. It was the most incredible feeling. And at the same time, I'm like, wow, I'm home. I knew I was home. That was home, not Earth. And for the first time, I had that realization. It was so incredible to be with God in that presence. And I remember having these just so many feelings and thoughts coming flooding through my mind, almost like a Rolodex. And God was, as soon as I would think it, God would answer it. And God would fill me with more love. And so there's this big teaching moment that's happening. And then I remember God telling me to look in front of me. And I'm looking in front of myself and I'm admiring all the incredible stars. And I'm seeing something. I'm like, wow, that's interesting. The stars are doing something. And they're lining up. And they made a huge, huge curtain. And I saw the stars part, and 3, 2, 1 countdown, and life review of Erica Mackenzie. And then the first picture on this movie screen was me in the hospital. My mom was holding me. She had just given birth to me. We start at that moment of the day I was born, and we proceed to live all of these moments in my life. One of the first memories was I was losing my first tooth in first grade. And then I remember in third grade winning the spelling bee, and then graduating from high school, getting married, becoming a mother. And I remember as we were reviewing them, I'm getting filled with all of this love and admiration from God and teaching moments that were all positive. I'm relishing in that. I'm basking in that. I just am starting to feel like, though, this human rational side of me, which was, wait. I was raised in a Christian home where we were taught that you would be judged. You were a sinner. So then I start panicking and I'm thinking, okay, God is not judging me. Why am I not being judged? Well, remember, God and I, was like telepathically. So I'm having these thoughts and God's reading my thoughts. And he replaces it with love. God loved me. God did not judge me. Judgment is the opposite of love. That is what God was trying to start to make me understand. We have no right to judge anybody else. And we have no right to judge ourselves. If you judge yourself, you can't love yourself. I had it all wrong when I was on earth. I wasted so much time judging myself, and look what I did to myself, the toxic behaviors that I did that led to my death. I remember God telling me to look to my right. Then all of a sudden in front of me appeared this big pair of eyeglasses that you wear to see, except for this wasn't normal size. This was the size of like a small Volkswagen bug vehicle. It's the best I can describe. And God told me to put them on. And there was no way. How would I be able to put those on? I mean, they're the size of a vehicle and I'm a person. I remember my hands going and picking up these huge glasses and drawing them near to my face and putting them on. And you know, by the time they got to my face, I put them on, they fit me perfectly. And God said, now look. This time I saw everything that wasn't in the first life review. And God explained to me that these are the things that you're going to be seeing that are important to him. One of the first memories, I was in Brownies when I was a little girl, and we were at the rest home. I had wandered off from the group. They came to find me, and I was in one of the residents' room, and I was sitting on her lap, and I was brushing her hair, and I was singing Jesus Loves Me, that song that you learn in church, to her. And the amount of love that that woman felt back was just so powerful. Just that little thing that I did. So many times, we don't pay attention to those things that we're doing that really are making the difference. We don't put value to them. We don't think they are important. And here God was teaching me through this whole lesson that that's all that matters. My eyes are being led to look up, and I'm looking past the stars, and I see appear in front of me bookshelves. The biggest bookshelf you've ever known, because it's so tall that it's disappeared past, the farthest point that I could see. Appeared on all of the shelves were gifts. They were all so individually, incredibly different. And then God started telling me, Erica, when you were born, I gave you the gift of patience and I gave you the gift of beauty. I didn't think I was pretty. If I was, like I told God, it's not true. Why was I treated like that? He gently stopped me in my tracks and corrected me, and he said, again, when you were born, I gave you the gift of patience and I gave you the gift of beauty. And in that moment, I understood for the first time what the gift of beauty really means. It's not what I was taught to believe, what mankind believes. This was what God believes is beautiful. And the beauty came from within my heart. My heart. And it was such a relief for the first time to really not just hear it, but to feel it, that I was enough. All of a sudden in front of me appears the earth. It's huge. And it's close enough that I can feel all of my family and friends. I see something that doesn't look natural. I remember telling myself, gosh, what is that? And no sooner am I thinking, oh, what is that? And studying it, I'm able to laser focus on it better. And I can see that it's flames, fire. and they're engulfing the planet. So now I have this impending sense of fear, almost uncontrollable fear. And I'm terrified. And I say to God, oh my God, my kids are down there, my family, my friends, the animals are with God, help. Look, there's flames, there's fire. I'm seeing these flicks of this almost mercury consistence, and they're like shooting off between all the flames all over the earth. And I'm watching them, and they're coming up and they're going above me, and now they're going past me into, I wasn't allowed to turn around at the time, but I knew they were going into heaven. There was hundreds and then thousands. God explained to me, those were the souls. They were lifting off, and look at them. They were all unscathed from these flames. Every time it was going past me, I had like this flood wash over me of relief. I was so relieved that they were saved. This is the first time that I ever felt sadness, tremendous amount of sadness from God. I find myself trying to comfort God, saying, no, God, look, they're okay. They're fine. It's okay. They're all going into heaven. They are fine. And he said to me, look. So I had to look again. And what I didn't see the first time, I'm now seeing there was these little flickers, the souls that weren't lifting off. And he was sad for them. They were being left behind. This sadness from God was so strong. It was not like him losing one child. It was like him losing so many children all at once. That's how profound it was. And I said, no. You can help them. I know you can help them. Help them. And he said, Erica, when you were born, I gave you and I gave each of my children the gift of life. But with the gift of life, hand in hand, I gave free will. And free will is the choice. Everybody gets to choose if they want that love connection with God. The love connection is the energy, what is needed. Our souls, when we are there, the fuel is the love connection. If we choose the love connection, the free will, they are lifted off. That's the energy they need. All of the focus from him, his heart at that moment, was hurting for the ones that were choosing not to have that connection. After the very last soul flew past me and I knew went safely into heaven, I expected that this was my time to be able to go in and join everybody, all the souls, into heaven. And I remember just like super excited and feeling like running, like I'm going to start running now into heaven and, join everybody. And I was like frozen in my tracks. Almost God stopped me and said, oh, no, child, you're not staying. And he said, before I send you back, I want to have you take your gifts of, patience and beauty. And now I want to give you 2 more gifts. I'm going to give you knowledge and wisdom. And when you go back, I want you to be quiet and listen to the people that I put into your life. And then when you speak, you will take patience, beauty, knowledge, and wisdom, and you will change millions of people's lives. And I remember trying to quickly come up with an argument to rebuttal that with God. But before I could even argue it, I remember feeling like I was pushed into this tunnel. This tunnel was completely the opposite of what I came up to heaven in. This was extremely slow. And I remember hearing something, but it was very faint. I had to really listen. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that's human voices. And it was terrifying. Everything was negative. It was anger-filled, loathing, hate, just the most awful things you would ever hear in conversation. And then I'm feeling something now from the bottom of me. I can feel hands all over me, pulling on me. I am right hovering above them, and they're trying to pull me down because I'm the only light they can see. And I'm terrified because with every sense that I can feel their fingers, it's draining the life force out of me. I was not home. God was not there. And the only thing I could do is I cried out to God. I said, God, help me. Please help me. I love you. I don't want to be here. When I cried out to him, I had established that love connection again. And as soon as I did that, I could feel all these hands reluctantly lifting off of me. They couldn't pull me anymore. And I was now lifting back up high enough that they couldn't reach me. I had this connection with God the whole entire time. It was the fuel propelling me back to earth. And eventually, I found myself hovering over my body in the emergency room, and I knew the inevitable, which was I was going to have to go back into that body. I looked down at my body. I didn't have enough time to even think or argue anything else, and I got forced right back into my body. I regained consciousness, and I look at my husband, and he's just so grateful. And I could feel the love from him and relief. And I remember, oh my God, I have got to tell him what just happened to me. You know, I've been to heaven. Man, okay, well, I had no voice. No voice. Nothing was coming out of my mouth, no matter how hard I tried. And they're like, rest, you know, the nurses, they're giving me the IV fluids and everything, like, don't even try to talk. They're like, you need to rest. I awoke into the doctor walking into the room. He said, oh, you're with us. Good morning, Mrs. Mackenzie. How are you doing this morning? I'm just like, oh my gosh, oh no, doctor, don't do the health assessment yet. No, we don't have time for that. Because he was like going to start, you know, listening to my heart and all that kind of stuff. And I'm like, no. I've just been to heaven. I've been with God. I have to tell you what he told me.
And I was walking on Broadway at Fullerton, and suddenly we heard an explosion. It was the first tower coming down. And down Broadway, you could just see this wall of debris come flying at us. And I was by myself. I took cover in between a column and the building at 195 Broadway. And we stood there I crouched there probably for about a good 5 minutes. It took that long for all the debris to come by, for the air to clear. When I got up, I was covered head to toe with debris. They opened the building. The gates in that building had been locked. They opened the doors. We went inside. They had evacuated this building, which was some 28 floors of commercial space, right after the first plane went into the World Trade Center. We stood in there. You could see outside. It looked like a war zone. Debris, dust, ankle deep. Cars on fire, cars turned to spew in the explosion.
This is just too funny. This lady's here. And then there she is. and this man is here. Where is he? He's here. And then he's here as well. So my favourite one is this lady who is in front of Tao, who is behind Tao, but just doing the same face. They're quite literally doing the same face. I just don't understand. Why didn't they change their costumes? At least take off the accessories, man. Like, what?
Watch Logan Paul freak out about this conspiracy.
About UFOs?
Yep.
I just want to mention this real quick. There's another category of UFOs that we should be concerned about.
Oh, Lord.
USOs, unidentified submerged objects.
Stop.
Wow. They're going underwater.
Wow.
They're going underwater now.
At precisely 11 p.m., the unidentified sphere seemingly vanished into the ocean.
Oh, splashed.
Like defying
Not
physics,
a fish.
traveling at hundreds of knots through the water, underwater, You shouldn't be able to do that. And apparently that's like that's a whole nother category, right? You got the flying ones, then you got the ones below sea. And the one video that came out most recently is this video the Navy had of this thing, you know, little like spherical object. I think it was about 6 feet in diameter, flying through the sky, approaching the waves, and you can hear the naval officer saying,
"Oh my gosh, we're going against."
Faces found time and time again in the rocks. Our realm was much larger, and the evidence that geology is nothing more than hardened biology can be found everywhere. And those with open eyes and open minds see it all too well. Makes you wonder about that pink Himalayan salt. We are standing literally on the remains of this much larger post-apocalyptic realm of ours. I recommend everyone check out Mud Fossil University on YouTube. Covered up and buried in an instant, in some cataclysmic reset of our realm. And what we get is the final moments of these titans, frozen in time like a photograph. Question everything, friends. Until next time. And that sound, and that feeling, that is the frequency and vibrations. What the old world used so predominantly. And the true reason behind all the bells that magically disappeared. Or they tell us it was for ammunition for the wars. But many truths get lost in the fog of war. The healing and uplifting properties of bells have been used for generations. But it goes deeper than that, moving us from the true nature of this realm, making us all that much easier to control. Question everything, friend.
Bells in Hindu temples are not just ornamental. Their purpose is scientific and has been discovered by mantras and yogis. When the bell rings, it produces a sharp and long-lasting sound. This sound creates a unity of your left and right brain, making your mind go into silence. The robust vibrations produced during the ringing of the bells last for 7 seconds, encouraging concentration. The sound produced activates all of the 7 healing centers, known as chakras. By touching the bell before ringing it, you can enhance the vibration, and by standing with your eyes closed, you will feel the sound within. The sound of the bells is believed to destroy negative energy, including bad spirits and evil powers. Bells produce an auspicious signal that can calm the mind, please the gods, and elevate your spirit. Bell sound therapy is also used for anxiety, stress reduction, and emotional healing. What are you waiting for? You can try this right now at your nearest temple. I'm sure there can't be a temple without bells.
The wheels.
The wheels.
The wheels.
The wheels. Well, the wheels are coming off.
The wheels off.
The wheels are coming off.
Coming off.
The wheels are coming off.
The wheels may be coming off.
The wheels are coming off.
The wheels are coming off.
The wheels are falling off.
The wheels are coming off.
The wheels are off.
The wheels are coming off.
The wheels are coming off.
This is why exposing the truth is scary.
People who expose the truth.
One of the most amazing things that I had ever seen at the bottom of the ocean. It was while filming for Blue Planets in the Gulf of Mexico. I noticed there's something out in the distance. Couldn't tell exactly what, but it looked like a dark band. And as we approached it, the dark band became a donut. I saw this donut. It was black in the center. What the heck is that? And so as we get closer and closer to it, I noticed that the black band had what appeared to be kind of water lapping against the shoreline. This band was a ring of
Like I said, the whole world's a stage, even the NFL. Take a look at this.
And this all started last season when the NFL scriptwriters and I, well, we got together and we decided that two brothers should play each other in the Super Bowl. When the Bosa brothers said no, I said, well, I guess the Kelseys will do.
Speaking of the Super Bowl, now the Chiefs have Taylor Swift on their side. So why would they want the Chiefs to lose when their jersey sales have gone up 400%? Which brings us back to this video.
Here's a clear example. 27 doesn't even attempt to make a tackle on Patrick Mahomes, giving him a clear path to a first down.
They also love to tell us the truth in all their commercials as well. Check out these.
What do we got?
I say we run last year's script back. Who doesn't love a good sequel, right?
Nice.
But we're just going to tweak the ending a little bit.
There we go. Write that down. All right, everyone. Last season was a smash. Ratings gold, but this year's script has to top it. So welcome to the table read for the 104th season of the NFL. Let's get to work.
If you go to the hospital today and get an encephalogram, what's that? That's the memory of your conscious mind. It's on the CD. Let's download it on this being. Now we got a walking, talking duplicate that has the total memory that you have because we just took it off of your own mind.
Okay, it's like Blade Runner, the android.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. The only thing is that it's like this DVD recorder. Sometimes you have glitches in it, so you have to have them tuned up occasionally or redone. And so we take them to Camp David, or there's a wing at Bethesda Hospital, to just tell you. If you go down there and check, you'll find the nurses, if they're willing to come forth, they'll tell you they work on those people, and they call them the others. I thought it was interesting. They're people. Remember, these people can think and act, but they don't have soul. That's also prophesized. Soulless beings.
That's true. That's true.
Want the one I'm not supposed to say out loud? Cool, here it is. You've never lived in a singular timeline. Your consciousness is a roaming signal, not a fixed point. And the world, the one you think is solid, is a composite of overlapping data fields that only feel coherent because your brain keeps choosing to see one version at a time. Now here's the actual conspiracy. Open quote. The planet isn't a globe, or flat, or hollow. It's a kept projected harmonic resonance chamber. A layered, multi-dimensional broadcasting station that changes its form based on the collective frequency of the beings inhabiting it. Close quote. And here's the wild part. All of your memories, deja vu, weird dreams, false nostalgia, strange connections to places you've never been, those aren't spiritual symptoms. Those are signal bleed from timelines your consciousness is already linked to. You remember things that didn't happen in this timeline because they happened in another one. That's still running. Every glitch you've ever noticed, every Mandela effect, that moment where you swore something had to be different, you weren't wrong. You just didn't slide cleanly. And this is where it gets dangerous. There are entire institutions, hidden programs, maybe even AIs, dedicated to keeping your signal tethered to the lowest vibration version of Earth possible. Because if you remembered that you could shift timelines at will, if you remembered how to literally jump through the matrix via your internal frequency tuning, you wouldn't need their systems. You wouldn't obey. You wouldn't fear death. You'd remember you're a multidimensional being piloting a light suit inside a dream loop. So they use trauma, they use screens, they use noise, routine, heartbreak, scrolling, fear, money, food, laws, weather, shame, anything they can to muddy your signal. So if I believe anything with my whole existence, it's that the real conspiracy isn't that we're being watched. It's that we're being anchored so we forget how to fly. And most people are so deep in the trance they think I'm crazy for reminding them they have wings.
If you think it and believe it, you can become it.
Sexy baby! You were such a sexy baby! I'm proud of you, proud. Make daddy love you.
Sexy baby.
Sexy baby.
Sexy baby.
Welcome to another episode of Man with a Wholesome Public Persona is actually a horrifying monster with decades of people screaming behind him. Allegedly. This is Tom Hanks, beloved actor, and those clips I showed you are from a sketch he did with Jimmy Kimmel about 14 years ago. Now, this was the era of toddlers and tiaras, and it was popular to do sketches like this with the intention of how creepy pageants like these are. So I could dismiss this as a poor taste satire like the early 2000s were riddled with, except the story of Tom Hanks does not quite end with this joke. In 2018, a woman named Sarah Ruth Ashcraft came out with really serious allegations against Tom Hanks, a fact that you will find nowhere on the internet anymore unless you search the archives. In fact, if you try Googling her name, nothing comes up, which feels reminiscent of women like Fiona Barnett, who I've also covered here. Sarah's allegations were not just towards Tom Hanks, it was towards an entire ring that she claimed her own family sold her into, so the claims here feel really outlandish. I don't even know that I would have mentioned it here if what happened next didn't happen. When Sarah came out with her story, it piqued the interest of a woman named Tracy Twyman. She began working with Sarah in order to get her story told in the mainstream. Sarah was not the only person that she was working with at this time. It seemed like Tracy was a part of the mass collaboration to expose the island, but that all came to a stop only a few months later when Tracy would be found unalived in 2019. This unaliving was ruled as self-inflicted, but she made multiple blog posts claiming that she was being threatened just days leading up to her death. Sick. We haven't heard that one before. The late Kyle Marissa Roth had numerous videos covering Tom Hanks if you're interested. And if this story wasn't convincing enough to you, you can go down an entire rabbit hole if you Google this man, whose name I won't say here because when you do talk about this guy on the internet, your video goes poof. Isn't that weird? Isn't that funny? But hey, maybe I'm totally wrong. Maybe he's totally innocent and everyone else is crazy. There's an easy way to find out. Do you know how? Release the list, right? Right? Like release the list. This is for entertainment purposes only. What do you guys think?
Hey,
have y'all seen what these phones can do?
Technology is absolutely out of this world. You can take files like photos from one phone, grab it, and move it over with just your hand. And that's not it, just wait. You can also pass the file to someone else's hand and they can put it in the new device. And look at this right here. You can pass it to multiple different people and still receive the message. Is the data being downloaded in their bodies? And this part right here, I don't know if I fully believe, because she passes this message through multiple floors of a building, through different people's hands, bro. Look how they keep dapping up each other. That's them transferring the data. Is Huawei using the people's body to store it? I need to know. How the hell is this working? Arthur C. Clarke wasn't lying when he said that technology will be indistinguishable from magic.
Does anybody know what's going on with South Carolina? Look at this, y'all. So they've got an excavator there digging holes and they are putting ladders in the hole. These holes look to be very deep. Now, what could they possibly know about the water that we don't? Because obviously you see them doing it right in front of the water. What's the purpose of these ladders? I myself am not quite sure. But nonetheless, this is very concerning because I grew up on a beach my whole life and I have never seen this done before. So what is going on in South Carolina? Y'all know that water has been moving as of late. But if anybody has any details or information on this, please let us know down in the comments below and like and follow and share this video. We gotta know what's going on, y'all. Let's get this shift. Peace in. That's so weird.
Morning, citizens. Your overnight account balances have been updated. Time to start a productive day. Final notice, your account balance is below 500. You need 50 credits by the end of the day to avoid automatic eviction. If you have missed work due to illness, you must provide a doctor's note to reclaim your credits.
Any extra credits? Please.
Tensions are high today, with more people planning to join the Citizens Against Digital Control protest. Remember, the government knows who you are at all times. Resisting is not worth the consequences. All of their newest social credit systems are designed to keep you and your families safe and efficient.
Authorities seized a record balance of an individual's credits, citing excessive hoarding.
Traffic violation detected. 7 miles per hour over the limit. 75 credits have been automatically deducted.
You have to be fucking kidding me.
Yep, you got the flu. Your blood work shows a significant iron deficiency. I recommend incorporating more red meat into your diet.
Dr. Jones, your taxes were not filed and have been automatically deducted with late fees. Your medical license has been revoked.
Oh, hell nah, I filed an extension.
Purchase denied. Monthly red meat allowance exceeded. Try mealworms instead.
Can you guys please let me through?
Attention. Unauthorized political gathering detected. Participants' access to financial services has been suspended. Due to the speeding infraction, your car will be immobilized for 3 days.
Fuck you! Take your surveillance policies and rot in hell!
You've earned 50 bonus credits for reporting your neighbor's hateful misconduct. This content exceeds your current social credit tier. May we suggest citizen responsibility? Sarah, open the door. You have been identified by the authorities. Don't